How much is your nursing job paying you to feel this unhappy? And how much is your happiness worth? Because right now, you wake up right in the day before you even start your shift. You feel exhausted, you feel overwhelmed, you count down the hours until your shift ends. And then by the time you get home, you're too exhausted to pour into yourself. You're spending most of your hours feeling overwhelmed and anxious, faking it, pretending you're fine, but you know something needs to change. So we need to talk because something needs to change. So the truth is that actually my intention for this video is to just inspire you to get back to your happiness and for you to really understand that the truth that a lot of people aren't teaching or don't say out loud. You feel like something's off, but I just want to get you back to the truth so that you can get back to your happiness. And the truth is that you don't have to sacrifice your health. You don't have to sacrifice your peace. You don't have to sacrifice your mental and your physical health to make good money. That's one way to do it. And that's a way that a lot of us are taught to do it. And that's a way that leaves a lot of us feeling trapped and stuck in survival mode. But that's not the only way. And if you're new here, I'm Mel. I left nursing back in 2021 and I don't regret my decision. But I know what it's like. All the things that I described, waking up feeling exhausted, not having energy, counting down the days, faking your smiles, pretending that you're okay. Like I know to my core what all of that feels like. And it's not a good place to be in. And I thought that when I became a nurse, I thought that I was doing everything right. I was following this version of success that I was taught to want, that a lot of us are taught to want. I was checking off boxes. I thought that the title, I thought that the money, I thought that the accolades, I thought that being a nurse was going to make me happy. Like I thought all of that was going to make me happy. So it was really confusing for me when I got into nursing and I tried so many different things and I constantly kept hitting burnout. It was confusing when I learned that I wasn't aligned with nursing because, you do all this work to get there. And a lot of nurses allow that to keep them stuck because they've done all of this work to become a nurse and they feel like there's no hope somewhere else. They feel like they don't have the skills or they don't know where to start or they feel stuck. But once I walked away from nursing, I started 3 different businesses, and I've learned so many different things. Like, my life completely took a took a turn for the better. My mental health, physical health, like, all of that significantly improved. But along that journey, I saw some things that I just can't unsee when it comes to not needing to sacrifice yourself, not needing to sacrifice your mental and your physical health. And a lot of people don't feel like the mental health aspect of it is as important as the physical health, but it's just as important. In your mental health, if that's always like out of whack, that leads to physical symptoms. So they go hand in hand and they're both extremely important to focus on. But when you see something that you learn something or you see something that you can't unsee or you see that there's another way to do something, you can't keep it in, like you can't contain it or you can't hold it to yourself and you just have to share it with other people. So that's part of my mission is to really help as many nurses as possible who feel stuck in their nursing role, who feel trapped, to get out of it, to choose happiness, to choose themselves over all else. to choose themselves over the things that are draining them, to choose themselves over survival mode. So let's talk about the reality of the situation. Because I did a post on my wall, my community wall. If you're not a part of my YouTube community, I encourage you to subscribe if you're a nurse who wants to leave nursing, who wants to find your happiness, redesign your life, and all of those good things. And you can participate in the votes and everything that go on. But I posted a community post, a poll, and I asked nurses who wanted to leave nursing what the number one thing was that was keeping them stuck. And all of the people who voted said finances. And I get that finances, like we need finances to survive, right? But there's not one way to get finances. There's not only the traditional path to get finances. If you're somebody who wants to do, you want a more freedom led path or whatever the case, there's not only one way. So you're really not stuck and you really have options. And I challenge you to start seeing the um the skills that you picked up in nursing as assets, as things that can transfer over to many different fields. If you're somebody who wants to get into entrepreneurship, I always say that nurses make the perfect entrepreneurs. You have delegation skills, organizational skills, communication, you know how to teach. Like all of these things are assets. All of these things make you very valuable in like outside of nursing. And I just want to emphasize that finances, like I said, we need finances. And I'm all about wealth. I'm all about cultivating wealth and, making great money. But the moral of this story is that you don't have to sacrifice yourself in order to do that. There's ways to make great money, but you still get to keep your peace. You still get to keep your sanity. You still get to feel energized and wake up excited and grateful and really have space in your day to be present, not just with yourself, but with your family, your friends, the people that you love, the people that you're doing all of this for. Cause the irony is, I always say this, the people who are like you're working so hard, but you're not able to enjoy the things that you're working so hard for. You're not able to enjoy the people that you're working so hard for. And I lost I lost quite a few family members last year in 2025. It was a very rough time. And it really taught me that we have to really take advantage of these moments. We have to really be present with the people that we love. We have to because we don't know how much time we have. We don't know how much time anyone has. And it's just important to be able to get to your own happy so that you can pour into others, be there for others like you really want to be. So people can get a version of you who feels like something, a version of you who's not always exhausted and drained. So I just want to emphasize that we outgrow, we outgrow. I want you to think about this because a lot of times when you want to leave nursing, when you walk away from nursing, you feel guilty or ashamed or like you'll be misunderstood because the traditional thing to do is to stay in your career until 60 something. But I want to shift your perspective on that because as we grow, like as we age, as we grow, we learn so many new things about ourselves. We learn so many new things about what we want, about what we don't want. And we really evolve into different versions of ourselves. So relationships that you would have entertained in your teens, you probably wouldn't entertain now. Environments that you would have entertained in your early 20s or or your teens, you probably wouldn't entertain now. So we outgrow relationships, we outgrow environments, we outgrow people. So it makes sense that we would outgrow careers, especially because a lot of times we get into careers at a young age. Right out of high school, we go into college a lot of times and we're expected to pick a career. But I realized that when I got into nursing at 23, like I literally didn't know anything. I knew stuff, but I didn't really know who I was. I was just out here trying stuff. And so many people are feeling like shame and guilt for wanting to do something else outside of nursing, but it's okay. It's okay to want something else. And as you allow yourself to choose yourself, as you allow yourself to really choose your happiness, as you allow yourself to do whatever it takes by any means necessary to go after that happiness, you turn into another version of yourself. You turn into a new version of yourself, the version of yourself that you're probably craving right now. So it's a analogy that I have that I want to share. I wrote this on my community wall the other day too. So I have a money tree and it fell one day and a piece of the branch on the right side snapped off. So I was like, okay, this part of the money tree is done. Like I thought that that was just it for that part. And I didn't realize it, but it was a new branch thing with plants coming from underneath the surface. And now there's plants coming from that part. So you might be thinking that leaving nursing is the end. You might be thinking like that's the worst case scenario, but in reality, that literally could be the best thing that you do for yourself right now, and the best thing that you do for your happiness right now. That could be the thing that you need to do in order to really get to that version of happiness that you're craving, the life that you're craving, that more resilient version of you who goes after what she wants. That's what it was for me. So I'm not here to tell you to stay, not here to tell you to leave, but I know you've been feeling it. Girl, I know you've been feeling it. And I know you just want to be happy more than anything. And that's really what this life is all about. We only get one life. We get one. So while I'm not here to tell you to leave or to stay, like I also am not here to tell you to stay in anything, to stay somewhere where you're just not satisfied. So I am here to not protect you. Well, in a way, but I am here to help you prepare to leave nursing in the right way if you feel like that's really something that you feel called to do. I am here to help you go after that version of happiness and that true version of success that you want, which is the version of you who feels more energized, who feels more mentally clear, who's actually going after the things that she wants to do, the things that feel good for her. And I want to say that I was thinking that this journey of leaving nursing is so much more than leaving nursing. And it's not about leaving nursing abruptly. That's not what I teach. But it is about preparing yourself mentally, physically, and emotionally so that you don't look back and regret your decision. But it's so much more than just leaving a career. It's really about becoming that woman who chooses herself, that woman who trusts herself, that woman who allows herself to do things differently, which automatically rubs off on the generations that come after us. People don't see it that way, but a lot of people are carrying around burnout, carrying around struggle, survival mode, and just passing it down from generation to generation. But that ends with me and my lineage. I don't have kids yet, but I'm not teaching my kids that belief that you have to work hard and sacrifice or struggle and be in survival mode in order to barely make it and to barely be making ends meet. That's not what I want to teach my kids. It's not what I want to pass down. Burnout is not what I want to pass down. So when you start to think of it like that and just think of how burnout doesn't only affect you, how your unhappiness isn't only affecting you, but it's affecting the people around you. It's affecting the people that you love, and it's affecting the generations to come because they see everything we do. They're watching us. They're paying attention and they're taking note. And everything that we do, it shapes their beliefs, shapes what they think that they have to do. So that's just something to think about. But if you are in a place where you know you want to leave nursing, but you are afraid to admit that to yourself, you haven't admitted that to yourself yet. I know exactly what it's like to be in that place, to feel stuck, to be going back and forth. Should I stay? Should I go? So I created a free resource for you. It's a masterclass to help you really get clear on your decision. And I'm going to link that down in the description. But I'm talking to the parts of you now the part of you who knows she wants to leave. Because there's that part of you, and then there's the part of you who's afraid. And right now, the part of you who's afraid is winning. And that part of you who's afraid is dictating how your life is dictating your happiness. But the part of you who knows she wants to leave, like I'm here to uplift her, to empower her, to speak life into her. Because the more you speak life into that version of you, the more you allow that version of yourself to rise up and to take the wheel. So I know that at one point you more than anything you wanted to be a nurse. You couldn't wait to have those letters behind your name, the status, all of that. But if you have all of those things and you laying down at night and you just with yourself and when you're silent and even when you're like all throughout the day when you're at work, you just notice that you're not happy. It's time to make some changes. Like I said, you get this life as this version of you to live. One life to live is this version of you. That's what I believe. So I know you loved being a nurse at one point, but now it feels like nursing just ain't loving you back. And that's a hard pill to swallow. But it's really time to start loving yourself back. It's time to start choosing you.